So I want to do a quick review of these Sarasa dry pens from Zebra. These are just like really solid gel pens from Zebra. It's in a variety that you don't see a whole lot in the US, being the Sarasa dry. And really what it means is that it's a variant of the Zebra Sarasa, but it uses a different ink type that's meant for faster drying. Zebra says that the Sarasa dry will dry 75% more quickly than a standard ink type from them. It is a very standard looking Zebra gel pen. We'll get into the design in a minute, but there's the cartridge. This is a 0.5 millimeter, and this one is just a normal blue, and this is the standard one here with their normal blue. The one I have next to it, this other blue, this is the limited edition coloring. You can see the color is sort of it's not coming up quite as well as I would like, but it's definitely a more interesting blue, a more unique, and it's very much the same as the other one, but it's a limited edition. And the two are identical. They're both a Sarasa dry, 0.5 millimeter. On the design side, it's a pretty good looking pen. It's not usually different than an Energel or a Pilot G2. Kind of similar size, similar build quality. Doesn't quite have the clean design of the G2, but they're really similar. From some of the other Zebra line, we see it inherits the spring cap, which is like not my favorite. It makes the cap like really big and clunky, but it works well enough. It's kind of part of the pen design that really turns me off is just how big that clip is, but Zebra seems to really like it. Then there's some like interesting embellishments here, like that little piece where the underbody kind of clips in or looks to clip in to the outer shell. There's nothing you could do with that. You can't push it in and take it apart or anything. Like a lot of other Zebras, has a skinny little button. Not so skinny, that's a problem, but definitely on the small side. Definitely smaller than like an Energel that has a really wide one. The grip area, which is cool, and it has a nice taper design. It is a refillable pen. You could take it apart and put in a different cartridge. If you play around, that means you could get these Zebra cartridges and put them in some other pens if you want, and that way you could bring that dry ink over to different pen types. As for writing, I think it's a really nice 0.5 millimeter gel pen. So this is the Sarasa dry 0.5 mm, and it's dry right there. Let's try that with this Pilot G2. So you can see the Pilot didn't smear either. So the dry thing is, that's going to depend on what you're writing on and how much ink you're putting down, all those other things. So I'm not sure that I buy that it dries 85% quicker than other pens, but it definitely does dry quickly. One thing that might be worth noting is that the 0.5 millimeter is really more like a 0.7 millimeter in most pens. You could see it's definitely, and again, it's these versus those, it's definitely thicker than a Pilot 0.5 millimeter, and it's way thicker over here. So that's going to vary pen to pen, but it's definitely more like getting a 0.7 millimeter. So I really do like the pen. There's really not a great way to test drying times except for use a whole lot of different paper. So I'll move over to this paper. This is a Tomo or Tomio pad, and it's just a very smooth paper. Obviously I've been writing on it a ton, but we'll test this out with the Sarasa. So that was quick, little smear at the end, but really nothing bad. So it's a sort of pen that a lefty would be okay with, because by the time your hand is getting there, it's pretty much dry. And let's write the same thing. So maybe slight more smearing with the Pilot, because it smeared over here, which is written earlier, but really not too different. So again, I really don't buy that this thing dries that much quicker than other pens, but it's reasonably fast drying, and it's not a problem. So just worth keeping in mind. Let's do one last test. We'll get something a little heavier. This is a V7 high tech or high point, whatever. And I'll write. So some smearing. Again, these things aren't wildly different from one another. So keep that dry in mind, and just maybe take it with a grain of salt. That said, I really do like these pens. I think they write really nicely. I think Zebra's been doing a really good job. On the aesthetic side, I think it's okay. I really like this limited edition blue, but the standard blue on black I think looks pretty sharp as well. My biggest issue with these, again, is the clip, but I could see someone liking the clip because Zebra has at least done some work in making it interesting looking. Has a sort of like Transformers high-tech look to it, so maybe it's not ideal for everyone, but it's definitely like at least an interesting looking pen. So that is the Sarasa Dry. Thanks for watching.